Have you ever felt that the Earth is a living entity, and it is staring right back at you? From above, the Milky Way swirls like a giant eye. Our blue planet doesn't just spin, it seems to heave with a breathing rhythm. Beautiful and magnificent, isn't it? But don't trust your eyes too soon, because when you look too long into the abyss looks back at you. When an astronaut is suspended in mid-air, drifting into endless nothingness, they aren't just escaping physical gravity. They are facing a psychological shock known as the overview effect. Falling into the void, the boundaries of the ego suddenly evaporate. Blood red. The rocket tears through the sky to reach the stars. We look up and think humanity is the great conqueror. How proud! But down on the ground, in these suffocating control rooms, doctors and scientists are hiding a dark secret. They dress the astronauts in magnificent suits, inject them with sedatives, push them down the glowing hallway. But absolutely no one warns them that the brain will be completely hacked once it crosses the Karman line. Giant machines, rolling, tense secret meetings. People try to meticulously calculate every physical risk, but are completely powerless against the collapse of a soul. Return to Earth. Useless, looking through a small window, or staring at a static TV screen. Their minds are still stuck in orbit. They see people arguing pointlessly over a few pennies, realizing everything is so hypocritical. The body returns, but the soul is forever lost. A massive storm is swallowing the ocean. Pointing down, you realize you are more useless than a screw floating in the cold darkness. Even the greatest egos are just specks of dust clinging to a deep blue marble, trapped in eternal darkness. Heat tether tightens the only fragile boundary between life and disappearing forever. Flailing, despair. You look from afar, the dark orbit like a gaping abyss waiting to swallow you. The loneliness here cannot be measured in distance. It is measured by the feeling of being forgotten by the entire universe. Massive space stations spin out of place. From the base on Mars to the barren lunar surface, the rescue ship is also just an illusion. The world out there has no borders or nations, and that truth suffocates all ideals. Humanity throws money at creating glowing ring stations, proud fleets reaching into the dark zones. But the further they go, the more they withdraw into themselves. Hurriedly chewing dry food in a cramped cabin, facing a soulless camera, and then staring at their own reflection in the mirror. Who am I? That question repeats like an unresettable system error. Donning the dark suit, taking heavy steps down the ladder, the faint flashlight sweeps through the psychological shadows no one dares to touch. Opening the hatch, taking one last breath from the air hose, and then falling backward, surrendering all prejudices to the endless void. Welcome to the awakening. Or is it the beginning of madness? Look at these colossal station frames, or this overwhelming network of glass covering the sky. We always proudly beat our chests when crafting these vibrant orange hulls and intricate steel grids to confidently pierce through freezing planetary rings. But what is the truth behind that armor? As the ship ventures further into the pitch-black void, it becomes increasingly isolated, fragile, and pitifully small. What are those vertical observation stations pointing at infinity, searching for a signal from another civilization? Or is it actually just the desperate echo of humanity begging for attention? A massive fleet covering the sky, darting past the majestic rings of Saturn, witnessing with your own eyes the breathtakingly beautiful spiral galaxy and the brilliant nebulas. a spectacularly magnificent sight that leaves you breathless. But the price you pay is that the entire cognitive operating system in your brain will be completely wiped clean. The universe has inherently never bothered to care who you are. In the blinding, ruthless light of stellar storms and the blazing galactic core, all fame, wealth, all human wars or frivolous social theories suddenly shatter into utterly meaningless stardust. In this ultimate realm of space, absolute silence is the one and only religion. Now, let's slowly look back at this familiar perspective. The Earth shines radiantly with its miraculous rims of light. A deep blue sphere suspended, stranded and helpless in the middle of nowhere. Looking down from the tiny space station, it is so incredibly fragile that it seems like an eggshell that could be crushed at any given moment. 8 billion people, endlessly crying, arguing, and slaughtering each other on the exact same speck of dust suspended in a single sunbeam. Looking through the curved window of the massive mothership, you see the Earth and the Moon like a perfect duo silently dancing amidst a black hole. But what truly drives astronauts insane isn't the staggering distance they have traveled, but rather that horrifying feeling when the space station just endlessly spins, pushing them into a far deeper orbit of their own minds. Even if they cling to the ship's walls until their hands bleed, the boundaries of their ego still melt away like candle wax meeting a flame. The very concept of I completely evaporates, leaving not a single trace behind. Standing frozen in silence behind the thick glass, a courageous, battle-hardened captain suddenly bursts into uncontrollable sobs. He cries, absolutely not because he is homesick. They cry because they realize that the entirety of humanity has been sucked into a black hole of blind arrogance. A hazy Saturn, razor-sharp, rocky rings, or the deadly, purple radiation out there, come to think of it, are nowhere near as terrifying as the vast emptiness inside our own souls. Underneath that sparkling, apathetic starry sky, a brutally cruel awakening has been permanently established. Sliding along the station's skeleton with an inverted perspective, from the barren surface of Mars to the final free fall into eternity, the overview effect doesn't destroy you. It only strips away your illusions. So, next time you're about to lose your mind over a traffic jam or a breakup text, remember this fall. You and your troubles are ultimately just a tiny piece of a brilliant nebula. Good night, proud dust of the universe.